So I wanted to talk to you about Kapwa, which is a Filipino philosophy I just recently learned about, and it is pretty incredible. It talks about essentially how they really truly see themselves in others, and that caught my attention pretty profoundly because I feel like that's actually drastically what's missing in Western American culture, that I don't feel like we really get that. I'm not sure if we ever did. In my lifetime, I don't think that I've seen that really. I think it's been less and less over time, and that's rather unfortunate. But it's interesting to see some of these other cultures that have been around for much, much, much longer and have much more history, to hear that this kind of philosophy has been so deeply ingrained in their culture that they still live and breathe that, even if they don't necessarily say what it is. It's just truly an unspoken knowing. So the essence of Kapwa is the concept that goes just way beyond being nice to your neighbors. It is recognizing that deep down we're all connected, and it's kind of like we're all leaves on the same cosmic tree, which is a pretty cool, I feel like I should paint that. That's a really cool visual to see. And so now, while you might be thinking, this sounds really cool, but like, how do you actually use this in real life? And essentially, it's truly embodying treating each other as though, how we would want to be treated, right? And that's something that I think gets said as a value, but it's not necessarily really understood what that means and how to do that. And also, when you're doing those things, it really is helping you as well. So when you help yourself, you help others. And when you help others, you help yourself, which is kind of an interesting cyclic scenario to talk about. And, if you think about that in the broader spectrum, we don't really have a lot of examples of people doing that, broad spectrum. When people do, they really stand out, which is crazy, because I don't think that should be something that stands out. That should be the norm. What should stand out is when someone does not act that way, when someone does not treat people that way. So for example, getting stuck in traffic. That is pretty much everybody has it at some point, whether it's an accident, whether they live in a high traffic area, but generally people have experienced that. They experience people getting angry. Maybe they're the angry one. Maybe you both get angry. And then you kind of just remember that everybody is just like you. They're also trying to get somewhere. They're potentially running late for something. Maybe their loved one is in the hospital and they're trying to get there. Maybe they just had a bad day and they don't want to have a disruption. But being able to, consider that deeper. Also, instead of competing with everybody, because that was another really big thing that stood out to me, is it wasn't really a very high competition. It is not a competitive culture, which is in a sense, right? They're very good at a lot of sports and a lot of different things that they put their mind to. They can essentially do everything. Really, if you look into the culture deeper, you can see that they really are very, very good at everything that they do, and they hold a lot of skills, but not competitive in the sense that just you existing is a competition for me. And that's something, again, that's kind of a really deep-grained Western American problem, is that we are constantly in competition with each other. I don't like that. I don't resonate with that. And I really would rather everybody else win before I win and support everybody. So that's another really cool one. So basically, what are some ways that you can resonate or you can start using Kapwa in your communities is something I think we all really need to take a deep down look at. There's a lot of different opportunities that people have talked about. Obviously volunteering at shelters, working with homeless people, working with, people who have less than you do, in so many different ways. I have been exposed to some really interesting projects over the years. I used to volunteer for a Amazing Acts of Kindness in Las Vegas, and that was the most incredible experience. So essentially, they get sponsor families. So for example, I would be a sponsor. I would get a family that had been that is in need of sponsorship, and you would essentially get them their Christmas, right? And so if they had a couple of kids and they had a couple of parents, or maybe they had the aunts and uncles live with them, but kind of figure out what's going on with them. Essentially, you can go as big or as small as you would like, but being able to help provide a holiday for the family. But the big transition from this was, or like the big change, the way it was different was that it wasn't always just people who were struggling, that were low income, that were poor, that is such a profound difficulty. But it also included people who were going through some medical difficulties. So people who couldn't work anymore because they had cancer and they were going through cancer treatment. I had one woman who her son was going through a cancer treatment, just a baby. And because she needed to be there to be his mother, she couldn't work. And it really took a huge toll on their family, not to mention all of the medications, the special food, special diet, special, different just medical practices, things that they needed to have that cost so much money that they were in debt. And they could not even, they were worried about paying their bills, let alone coming up with Christmas for the family. And so being able to really think about that there are so many reasons why people need community, why people need support, and never being able to judge because you literally have no idea what someone else is going through. Equally, you have struggles, you have had difficulties throughout your life. Everybody has something. And recognize that if you felt at all bad during those moments, imagine how difficult it is for some of these other really, really extreme examples. So, how can you check in on your neighbor? How can you, be more family oriented and be more community oriented and truly look out for each other and see the self in others, which is what Kapwa is. And do some research on it. Look up what Kapwa is. Look up how it's resonated in other communities, other cultures. It's really very important. Especially right now because we feel really divided and disconnected as our country in America because we have so much going on. It feels like there is lines being drawn everywhere, and it's really hard to really understand where people are coming from when there's a lot of hate and a lot of mistrust and a lot of difficulty going around that, So kind of as a reminder that we're all in this together, and by lifting each other up, we all get lifted up. And, these are not just words or phrases. These are things to really think about. I mean, write it down and actually think, what does that mean to me? What does it mean to me that we're in it together and if I'm raised, we're all raised? That is really a big thing. So some of the things you can just do are to start small, to talk to the cashier at the grocery store or at the bank if you go there, and just really ask people how they're doing and listen for their response. Often people will routinely ask some of those questions, but they actually didn't hear me when I respond, which is really disheartening because I think, what if I said something bad? But they didn't actually hear that either. And they could have been that one person that could have, kind of shifted the script for me to make me feel better that day. And they don't. Those are those little things that we can do. And it's really powerful and profound to do that. So just think about where can you see yourself in others? Where can you say, I want to do this and I want to say this, or I want to help this person or support this person, or whatever that looks like for you, even your husband or your wife or your girlfriend or boyfriend. Just see a little bit of yourself in them and do something different. Make it a routine to just try to do that everywhere. You may be surprised how it changes your perspective And it also brightens up someone else's day. Because if you have ever felt anything, if you've ever been around a Filipino family or met someone that's Filipino, you know. They are so friendly. They are so sweet. They are so funny. They are so talented. And to be able to spend time with them and know that they will just embrace you as one of them truly is a incredible feeling. So I hope that you can give those feelings to those around you as well. And through this, that is other examples of collective consciousness and how we can, embody all of those really good things to drown out the bad things that are happening and to be a part of the solution, literally, and not have to do, a lot of heavy lifting, a lot of work. If that's something that you do, that's fantastic. But this is really simple tasks, some easy stuff. So, The Incredible Power of Kapwa. Check it out. Watch the Filipino story. It explains it in depth and beauty. There's an entire book that a German author wrote that I am looking to get hold of, which I have not gotten my hands on a copy yet. It is sold out. I found one for $1,000 or $999 on Amazon. So I'm looking to try to get a hold of that book, but there is a lot of information and knowledge online, so check it out. And remember, we're all connected in this beautiful tapestry, this cosmic tree of life we're all connected to. And so go spread some love, embrace humanity, and do your part.